Wherever you live in the world, even if you live under a literal rock without any reason to live, you surely have heard of Lies of P. And if you're like me, and YouTube hasn't stopped sending you Lies of P videos until you clicked on one of them and realized, oh my god, it's another Souls-like game. That's right, everybody. Another torture machine disguising as a game has been created by none other than the people we love and see in our nightmares. Round 8 Studio. And today I'm gonna review it. So the most important thing in a video game for me is that the game is good and good to play and fun. And trust me, we will be seeing a lot of that later. But what makes Lies of P actually good, it's not the game itself. It's the other games that make it fun. Imagine Lies of P released without Dark Souls and Bloodborne existing. Yeah, the game would die faster than I did when I first played Fortnite. We like Lies of P not because we like it, but because we like the other games that it copied. But that's a good thing, because not only do we get to play a new and fresh Souls-like game, but also because we made Round 8 Studio another Bitcoin miner, which means DLC. So because this is a Souls-like, we will go over what makes Souls-likes good and fun, starting with the areas. So you may remember escaping the streets of London in Bloodborne, when in Lies of P it's the exact same thing, except now you're escaping the streets of Amsterdam, with ChatGPT-51 lurking around every corner that see you as a roadblock that's blocking their rent-a-bike stations and their stroopwafel bakeries. In other words, you can call this area Netherlands Simulator, because in the entire city there's only one hotel that even Elon Musk can't afford, and on top of that, the main hotel entrance is also blocked by a circus led by a child abductor that has the strength to carry 6 adult men on his shoulders. That equals the 20 kids he can yoink in a second, which is pretty efficient but not good for us. So we decide to sleep on a train instead until a blue butterfly starts shouting at us to wake us up. Of all the areas, the train stations is definitely my favorite, because it's the only way to leave, and I would be doing that immediately if the only train captain didn't get locked up in a dungeon because he stole a stroopwafel. So I guess I'm stuck here forever. Now that we have the area covered, let's talk about the enemies, shall we? All the enemies in Lies of P are fully automated robotic puppets, also known as ChatGPT-51, and they can do everything that a human can besides lying, because they have a mental disability called over-loyalty. That's right, people. First they kill all human beings in the Milky Way, and then they feel sorry and are loyal again. That's a mental disability if I ever saw one. Also, their weapon of choice is a stop sign and a chandelier, which proves my theory even more. There are also some big guys eating a peanut butter and organ sandwich on the street, and trust me, they don't like sharing. So that's the areas covered. Now let's move on to the combat. The combat in this game is the most unique thing this game will ever accomplish in its existence, and it still feels like a mixture of all the other Souls-like combat styles, which is a good thing because I don't want to learn a whole new combat system again. It feels the most like Bloodborne combat because each weapon has its own moveset, like in Bloodborne. With Lies of P you can dismantle and assemble weapons out of weapons to make weapons with the square root of the hypotenuse divided by the Earth's gravity. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, you can slay people like Will Smith with a thing called a Legion arm. You can also mount Spider-Man's web shooter on your Legion arm to make it worse, because Spider-Man sucks and these movies are fake. And don't even get me started on the rolling. Please, no. Oh god, please, no. You can also do some Sekiro parrying and blocking on budget if you hate yourself and want to suffer immensely, like me. There's also a mana in this game called Fable, which is basically focused from Dark Souls but worse, because you need a thing called a Fable Catalyst to charge it back up. And the mana attacks aren't even worth it, trust me. They do as much damage as a butterfly does to a cat. In that case, you are the butterfly. And if you run out of Fable Catalyst, the only way to charge back up is by killing enemies, which takes longer than a leap year to happen. The healing is the only thing this game did correctly, which is one more thing that I thought it would do correctly. Now that you have the combat covered, let's move on to the bosses. And this is also a good time to mention that in Lies of P you don't get to create your own character. No. You will play as lonely Peter Pan without his friends and his Barbie doll, whether you like it or not. And trust me, it's not really built for Souls-like, so you're screwed. The best word to describe the bosses in this game is mediocre at best. There are 3 of them in total and none of them got close to being a fun experience. They are challenging in a way they shouldn't be. They don't require skill, they require luck like a slot machine to beat them. Which is sad because bosses are my favorite part of any game. I felt defeated when I realized I could just download a slot machine game from Google Play and get the same experience, especially the Mad Donkey. It has only 2.5 attacks and 1.5 of them you can only dodge by running away because your iframes took a vacation. The best strategy to beat him is to lure the Amsterdam officer puppets into his boss arena and tell them that he didn't pay for his bike, so the officer started beating him up. I think he's another guy who went mad because he can't leave, so he decided to start making some puppet burgers out of boredom, which is not good because you play as puppet. A Peter Pan puppet. The other 2 bosses are the child abductor, which I was more than happy to kill and erase from my memory permanently, because not only is he a living Terminator punching and grabbing me like I'm an ant that's eating his picnic sandwich, but also because he has a thing called the second phase of life, also called my funeral, where he rips his own head off because seeing and hearing is just an annoyance to him. He only needs his 6th sense like a platypus, and it worked pretty well on me. The last boss is Nikola Tesla, the Amsterdam edition, which I was not excited to see at all, so I even had to call backup to get rid of him as soon as possible. In my eyes he's a mosquito that's not letting me sleep, and I hate mosquitoes that don't let me sleep. He was not very excited to see me either, so he gave me quite a shocking experience. He also told me that I look like I need a jolt of energy, so he gave me it very happily. And him dying, the torture machine demo ends, and with that also the video. Hope you enjoyed.